as soon as they love something, you know not to go to it. But boy, they hated Twin Peaks, you know, or they hated this or that.
Reverend Stein? Huh? What about Slack?
What about Slack? We're drifting from the key point.
Yeah. What about Slack? You know, I would have gotten here earlier, but I was momentarily robbed of the Slack.
A question! There's an arm.
Define a perfect slacker job.
The perfect slacker job would be Bob's job, which is to be the fulcrum of the luck plane, the very accretion disk of the black hole of the luck
job once.
Although Slack and job are kind of
Slacker and Slack don't necessarily go together either.
No. No, the conspiracy's trying to normalize. You'll notice in the last several years, suddenly there's this whole generation that's called slackers. And there's all these commercials with, like the Nissan commercial with, you know, oh, it's you, Bob, you know, and so forth. And all these, that's just the conspiracy itself. The media, the particular media conspiracy trying to normalize the whole thing and make it cute so that you'll buy one of these shirts with like a smile face. It's just like a cute kind of hip smile face. It's got more detail in it.
It's how the conspiracy always destroys everything. If they're threatened by militant blacks, what do? They start putting Malcolm X on T-shirts and doing movies about it. And the next thing you know, everybody goes, oh yeah, Malcolm X, I'm hip to that, man. Or if they hate rap music, they start putting on Burger King and McDonald's commercials until finally you go, oh, rap music, you know, I don't need that anymore. I'm into that joke. So when the conspiracy starts talking about the conspiracy and Bob Dodge, you know it's awfully damn close to 1998. There's a reason for this. They're trying to scare the very last, the fence sitters. Those are really the souls we're out to save because they're the ones that could actually be saved.
We want to tip them over. We want to throw off their balance just that little bit more that sends them tumbling right down into Bob's pipe.
They don't really know what it is, but they get the sense that there must be some money involved.
It's not a joke.
You mean there's cameras in
No, I mean it's not a joke. That's what I meant.
Something that needs to be admitted straightforward for some of you all that are sitting on the fence and are trying to ask yourself, you know, is this something I really want to know about? The answer is no. You don't want to know about it. If you have to ask that question, you do not want to know about it. We are a church of paradoxes. We always experience joyful pain or it feels good to hurt type of things. And just this whole panel. Yeah, we can sit up here and we can try to answer questions, but how can we explain something like this? This is like, just going the rupture, for instance. It will, after that, it will be like winning the lottery will be like getting a tax audit in comparison. There's no way to explain it. You don't have the experience yet. But you just have to take it on faith.
Those who know don't say, and those who say don't know.
Is that who said that?
Yeah, it says so right in this book. Oh yeah, and as Mr. Natural said, if you have to ask, you'll never know. And as St. Palmer Vreede said, I wish I could forget. But as J.R. Bob Dobbs said, fuck them if they can't take a joke. That's what it's all about. Those really are words to live by. Bob has many glib sayings like, too much is always better than not enough, and pull the wool over your own eyes and relax in the safety of your own delusions, and other worthy things. But the truest one really is, the only one you really need, and it's the only rule in the church, is fuck them if they can't take a joke. That's the one rule.
The interstitial spaces between the vortices. That one really never got very popular. You have that ring, you know.
It's the one kind of faith that works, no matter how shitty and horribly suck-ass your life gets. It's helped me. It's bailed me out.
The conspiracy is a web of illusions. It has a way of making black look white and white look black. And just the very notion of this whole seminar. I mean, you come here and you pay money to attend this? I mean, that wasn't our idea. But that's the way they pervert things.
Yeah,
we sort of a potluck religion.
Yeah, kind of.
It is a potluck religion. That's a great description of it.
It's a hot covered dish religion.
Well, I guess tar baby religion is really what it is. All of you have been stuck with this now. You're money and we're going to leave it.
Especially for those of us.
It's going to be there. You're staying.
Now we've answered enough questions. Now I'd like to ask a question to the audience. Is there anybody here who has not experienced the conspiracy? Okay, that proves it.
Bob sold it, I smoked it, that settles it. In November, Revelation X, the Bob Apocryphon. Notice it matches with the first book, which has a picture of Bob with heavenly clouds and light emanating from him, and here he's got flames and death and horror and so forth.
So see, what it means is we're going to need your help on how to design the third cover, because we've already undertaken.
Heaven, hell, and
now what do we do?
limbo.
It's a trilogy, and we don't have a cover.
Unbaptized babies with it.
The third and last testament, my friends.
We have another question out there somewhere.
We'd never have time to get another one out before X Day. I mean,
That's right.
It's only 4 years, you know, it'd be impossible. Took about, what, 7 for that one. So.
Yeah.
Somebody out there is dying to ask something, but they're afraid they're going to be judged by their peers if
Someone's
they speak
having
up.
trouble.
I feel somebody having trouble out there. It's asthma. It's earache.
Pancreatic something.
It's eczema.
Oh, there it is.
Eczema.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. I've got the cream right here. One of the side branches of the church is crackpotology studies. The church is like a Frankenstein monster made from the dead bodies of other religions. The good parts. The good parts stitched together and brought to unholy, shambling life. And we keep records of, in fact, Dr. Drummond and I started collecting kook material years and years ago, and that's how we met.
We were like 10 years old, and a John Birch Society pamphlet came our way. Wow, this could be the start of something right here. You know?
How many people were horribly twisted by being given chick publications at Vacation Bible School?
Yeah. So we're trying to hire that guy's artist. It's that look, you can't fake it. You know, you really have to have brain damage to be able to draw like that.
Drug-induced brain damage, tainted by...
I prefer to think of him as differently able.
Differently deranged.
Another question.
How did you guys all get started in this?
I just told you.
We slept our way to the bottom.
Our way to the bottom.
Oh, I've never had a good sense of
A guy came up to me one day and said, "Hey, you want this church? I'm tired of it." I said, okay.
It was this guy with
And that guy was Bob Dobbs.
That's right.
We thought it wouldn't run. It was all eaten up with rust.
It had
and shit.
worms and mange and
Bird's nest in it.
Well, some people just were completely unrelated, knew nothing of one another, but were in isolated areas. Like, I was in a place called Auburn, and I always thought it was spelled A-U, but in fact it was A-L-L burn, because it was a
Did you have
living
Auburn down?
excursion. Yes, it was quite an
painful,
experience. And the whole time I was there, I just kept thinking, you know, there's got to be a better religion. There's got to be a more true religion, and there was.
A workable religion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Philo and I went to military school together.
Yeah, well, you can imagine.
He went too, but he was in the South Barracks, so
We never saw him that much.
I was in the Death Heads Corps.
Yeah, and they were always out at night, so they were asleep in the daytime when
We were in the Raisin Squad.
Yeah.
Our uniforms were ski masks and so.
A lot of it is just childhood stuff. It was a joke that got out of hand. That's the problem now, is that we're sort of in front of this avalanche trying to outrun it.
It's like being on a bucking bronco. It's like if you let go for a second, you're going to get kicked in the head. You know, you gotta hang on.
oh, and they're busy.
Pages of the book Xerox pushing it down the hallway.
There are thousands of burned out, dead subgeniuses who just couldn't keep up, run faster than the joke.
Yeah.
But they help that. You see, the bodies grease the friction, and so they help that mass move faster and faster, like Bobby Souls.
Well, people have asked whether we channeled this stuff from Bob, and nobody can channel more than about a word at a time from J.R. Bob Dobbs. So what we have to do is we get these what we call bobbies. I'm sure there aren't any here today. We get these bobbies and we'll line them up in a big line and run down the line with a tape recorder when Bob starts talking. So it's like, because it's just like a flash bulb that's been burned out. You know, they get one word out. But you can use them twice. They're good for another, and they're not good for much else but channeling Bob after that. But you can get another word or two out of
I
most
found
of
out
them.
you can get more than one soul in those silver cylinders too. Somebody asked me.
Oh, millions of them.
Oh.
I hope you haven't been like
I've just
sending
been
those
using one at a
cylinders full of
time.
souls off with 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Hell, the
And I thought that
cylinders
was a
cost
big
$5,
deal.
man. God, he's nuts.